All right, good morning. Today I want to talk about hypnotism and Christian counseling. This is a very misunderstood concept of Christian counseling that most Christians will not only avoid but refuse to take part in, and most counselors will not even, entertain the idea of using hypnotism. Primarily because none of them know how to do it. Very few do, and the only thing they can connect to hypnotism is what we would call stage hypnotism. Everybody has pretty much seen what happens when somebody's on stage and they're put into a deep sleep. And then they're made to look like a chicken or a duck or to waddle or flap their arms like they're wings of a bird. But that is not hypnotherapy. That is where you go straight to the unconscious, beyond the unconscious, into the no conscious part of the brain, and you run their body like an automaton. That individual does have the ability to resist it if they so choose. Hypnotherapy, on the other hand, is nothing like that. See, the brain is made up of not just three, the id, the ego, the superego. The brain has actually got 7 layers. You have the frontal conscience, which is right here, this front of the brain, the frontal lobes. That's where the active conscious is. That's where you and I live. That's where we work from. You have just behind that the subconscious. That's where thoughts come to you. Even though the actions are already going to happen, you get to hear the thoughts and you get to roll over things in your mind. Then you have the third layer, which is right about here. It's called the interior aspect of the subconscious. And then you have a wedge that comes straight down here into the middle. And that is the 4th layer of the brain. That's called the unconscious. In the 4th layer of the brain, you have your filtering systems, what you value, what you hold as being important. So it's your belief systems and your value systems are kept in the 4th layer. When a person goes into hypnotherapy, they seek to go around the 4th layer into the 5th layer, which is the no conscious. The 5th layer is back here where the fight or flight is. When the brain goes into a fight or flight mode, it's doing this as a survival coping mechanism. And, it's where the person decides to either flee or stay. It's where disassociation is what we call actualized. Then you have the 6th layer, which is the small circle just above the fissure point on the base of the brain back here. So the brainstem comes up, it has the central fissure point, and just above that, about that high, is a circular area that's known as the 6th layer of the no conscious. That's where alternate shells are kept. That's where the brain, the effulgence of the brain, brings its energy up and then diverts it to the various regions of the brain. And in that area is a holding center. That's where repression happens. That's where modeling happens, or what we call the centralization point, where all information is processed and stored. Modeling is how it's connected to memories, events, and that's why it's the place where decisions are made within the brain for the next day. When you go to bed at night and the brain deletes everything from short-term, mid-term memory, keeps the stuff in long-term, adds it to the collective pool, that's where it happens, and then your decisions for the next day are already prepared there. The 7th, of course, is the autonomic center. It's the upper 3/8 of the brainstem, all the way down to the C4, C5 area. And that is where the body controls everything that you don't have to think about. You don't have to tell your heart to beat. Praise God, it does it there. You don't have to tell which hormones you need more of or less of. You don't have to control or regulate the homeostasis within your body's environment. It's all taken care of in the 7th layer of the no conscious. That is also connected directly into the gastrointestinal system, where the largest number of peripheral nerves are located. In hypnotherapy, what the counselor does is they take and keep you awake. You're a part of it. It won't work unless you are a part of it. And they take you down and around. They bypass the value and the belief systems, but because you're awake, you can come back to them. And they take you down to the 6th layer of the no conscious part of the brain, where the decisions are made. Many people have repressed anxieties they can't get to. They don't know why their leg bounces. That's called running leg syndrome. They don't know why they have innate fears, phobias, why their brain won't shut down at night and they can't sleep, why they feel compelled to overeat. Every time they get just about to the weight they want, then something happens. And it's because they have a conditioned setting within their brain or their mind that they just can't touch from the active conscious. Through prayer, through hypnotherapy, a good counselor will take you right down there and be able to diffuse it and even change the way that you live. And this is what the power of God does. The power of God enables a person to have a new life, a new creation. But it's by knowing the truth that a person is set free. That word is epigenosko in the Greek, and it means experiencing the truth. Hypnotherapy will take you right down to where it is, bring up the memory, let you see what the truth is. It's not theophostics where you make them relive it. You take away the pain, you take away the anxiety, you diffuse it, and you give the person the ability to live life as God would intend it. You can change, remodel, recondition the thinking patterns. For instance, when somebody needs to pass the bar exam, it's very common for those going into law to go see a hypnotist 14 to 15 weeks before the exam. Properly done, it needs to be at least 14 weeks before the exam. And then it takes a series of 10 weeks, one session per week, to relax the brain, destigmatize it, remove any anxieties, and then to give it a reward condition so that it wants to remember because the facts are there. Brain's a computer, it can pull them right back up. But it also makes sure that the facts are there because anxieties, cortisol influx deletes mid and short-term memories. And a lot of times people can't remember because it was deleted because they've studied too much. For instance, going over 50 minutes of any type of concentrated study, and after 38 to 40 minutes, the brain is overtaxed. It's in a what we call a somnambulistic state, and at that point, it ceases to record. It starts just deleting because its files are full. So I would encourage you, if you know a good Christian counselor who knows how to do hypnotherapy, and you need help, to go ahead and consult with them. I'm located here in Ocala. I try to help all who come to me. So this is Dr. Tom Knotts, and I pray that this has opened your eyes and this teaches you a little bit about what true hypnotherapy is. Lord bless you this day.